Hello, welcome back. As I begin this message today, I'm just going to take a deep breath to really open me up to whatever wants to flow through me. And I invite you to do this with me as well. As always, connecting to our breath is the very thing that can provide exactly what we need in any given moment. It is the connection to spirit within. Now, just again, as you are here, opening up your mind, opening up your heart, maybe even setting an intention, right? Allowing something to be activated during this conversation as we share and rethink, redefine purpose, because this message has been really loud for me this week, and I knew I needed to get on here and share this message. And we are so caught up in what collectively we define purpose as, right? In Western culture, right? We think that our purpose is what we do, what we achieve, how we make money, our career, our job. And we put so much emphasis on finding our purpose. And it's really kind of like sucking your joy, your happiness, your fulfillment, because you are diminishing and you are not listening to that internal guidance system within that is trying to so lovingly guide you to a life that feels deeply fulfilling and deeply satisfying. Because when where you are being guided, where you are being nudged, doesn't make sense to like the logical, rational thinking mind, we don't follow it. And in this message today, I want you to simply start to open up to a thinking of, what if I simply allowed myself to be guided by spirit? That is where we are taking this conversation today. So, in thinking about purpose, simply starting to look at and bring awareness to, how is that showing up in your life, right? Maybe for you, you have been the one that, thought you had to follow a certain career path. Maybe it's something that, your family has done or your family really valued. And now, you fell in line with needing to do the same thing, or needing or feeling like you needed to honor their wishes. And you're following that career path and you're doing well, right? You're making money. You are doing all the things on paper that you think you need to be doing, and you're getting the promotions and you have the fancy job title, yet something still feels missing. And this is the problem that I personally have with identifying our purpose with what we do, with our worth from strictly a monetary perspective, strictly in a way of, this is how I make money. And even in that, even in how you make money is the only way that you are of value. And that is the biggest lie that we have collectively as a society been taught. It is simply not true, right? Humanity has existed for tens of thousands of years prior to this moment in time, and it existed for a long time without any of these restraints and thoughts and ideas that we put on ourselves and our own worth, again, when it comes to This is what I do. This is how I make money. This is why I am valuable. That is not true. That is simply not true. Okay? So if you are feeling like that right now, start looking at, where did I pick some of this programming up? Where did I pick up these stories? Where did I think, where did I pick up the thoughts, right? Like the thinking that I needed to do X, that I needed to achieve, right? And oftentimes it's so innocent. And I even catch myself doing this with my own kids, and our parents did this to us, right? Like, you know, telling us what we needed to do, and we needed to work hard and make money. And it was like so ingrained in who we are that we became so identified with that. And now that we are doing those very things and we are not finding the fulfillment in them, not even just that we aren't finding the fulfillment in them, maybe you are finding the fulfillment, but there is still something deep within you that feels missing. It still feels like there has to be something more. There is something that you are longing for, and it doesn't make sense because you're doing all the things that you've been taught and told to do. So, why does something still feel missing? And this is where I really want to change and broaden this conversation around purpose and really define what that actually means, because it is something so much deeper. And it's what's wanting to come through is like, not to take it so seriously, not to put such an emphasis on, I need to find my purpose. Because what if you walking down the street and smiling at a stranger today, completely brightening their day, maybe completely changing their thought pattern, maybe in that moment they had like an internal epiphany or revelation that will completely change the trajectory of their life for the better. What if that is like the most purposeful thing you do all year and you don't even know you did it, right? So I want to invite you, and again, just being in this conversation, letting whatever wants to be activated. But I want to invite you to simply think about, right? To just get curious. What if your purpose is simply showing up and living your life? And a part of me wants to go deeper and say, really living in alignment, right? Like living in alignment with the truth of, who you came here to be. And I do believe that, yes, there is so much truth to that. And I also do not want you to judge yourself or feel guilty or any other kind of negative emotion where you're like, I haven't been doing that, something is wrong. Okay. That is also not true. I believe that you are living your purpose. If you were meant to be doing anything else right now, if your life was supposed to look any different than it does right now, it would have. It would be different, okay? Everything that you have done up until this point, everything that you have experienced is part of your purpose, is part of your, your great remembering, your great knowing, your great, right? These lessons and things that you are just here to experience. I believe that our purpose is so deeply rooted in simply experiencing the fullness of this life. Who knows what you came into this life with, right? Maybe, as hard and challenging as it feels, maybe part of this life was to experience the pain of grief, right? And like, I know that that makes no sense whatsoever. And I know that that can really hurt and feel so painful. And you're like, no, there's no way. But what if that's what your soul signed up for, right? What if simply allowing yourself to fully embrace wherever you are right now, whoever you are right now, whatever you're doing right now. What if that is the greater purpose? And only when you can allow yourself to fully embrace that, to fully feel that without the judgment, without the guilt, without the like shoulda, woulda, couldas, being simply in this moment, having grace for it, having like so much gratitude for it, that only then do you shift energetically and internally the very thing that you came here to shift. And this is what is equally beautiful and infuriating about the idea of purpose, or even some of these shifts that happen. Sometimes our most profound shifts happen and we don't even know it, right? Sometimes we are caught doing like so much healing, so much inner work, so, like so much analyzing and overanalyzing and overthinking, and we're so caught up in it, right? But the shift has already happened and we don't even know it, but like our thinking mind is just like trying to figure it out, right? So what if the purpose is just to show up and be and to meet this moment? And that is all you do. And that may feel powerful to some of you because maybe in this moment, like you're really lacking even the motivation or the idea around purpose, right? Like so often, again, we think about purpose and it's like, it's so based on, again, like productivity and what we need to do and having a goal and having a plan and taking action. And it's so much about like forward movement and momentum. But sometimes the purpose lies in the stillness. Sometimes the purpose, again, it's really letting go of that judgment and just allowing yourself to be wherever you are right now. If that means that you don't really know like what the goal is or what you want, that's also okay. You can be in that. I know for me personally right now, that's kind of how I'm feeling. It's so interesting because I have never felt more surrendered. I have never felt more at peace and content and at ease, while simultaneously really feeling like I don't have a goal right now. I know that that sounds wild, and I'm also totally okay with that. I've done so much work to be okay with knowing that there are moments of stillness and rest, and it may seem like uncertainty and it may seem like a lack of clarity, but it's truly when I just allow space for that, that the clarity comes, right? This fog will lift, the momentum will come, the spark will come. That is just how the flow of life works. And it is only when we are like, I need to get out of this, I need to feel better, I need to figure this out, that it prolongs the state. It's going to be what it is. Can you allow yourself to simply be more surrendered, to be in the flow of life, right? Again, the flow isn't always, gosh, people talk about flow state when it, like specifically with productivity. And yes, that is so true. But flow, being in the flow is also like being okay when you're not like feeling that energy. And by energy, I mean like feeling like maybe excited or like kind of like a heightened energetic state. It doesn't mean anything bad, right? Again, it's like we're making meaning out of this idea of purpose and productivity and our value and our worth. But what if simply in allowing yourself to be, simply in letting go of the meaning, in letting go of the judgment, that you allow, you connect to something deep within that nudges you to something new, that guides you in a new way, that opens you up to a new path. And sometimes this is a huge epiphany, and it feels like the truest thing that you could know in that moment, and you instantly want to get to work and take action, and you feel really inspired. Wonderful, beautiful. I love when that happens for me as well. And it doesn't always happen that way. So don't judge it when it doesn't, right? Sometimes purpose simply lies in trusting where you feel called in this moment, no matter how small and insignificant it seems. To just make it more tangible, right now for me, that is like, I don't know, there's this like new kind of found emphasis on like my family life and my kids and just being with them and being more present. And I'm really wanting to like just make more nourishing meals and I don't know, just be with them in a way, obviously I, think I'm a good mom and I'm with them, but I just feel really called to like slow down and want to be with them. And I'm just trusting that. For me right now, that is where my purpose lies. That is just, I don't know why, right? I don't know where it will lead. I don't know what it means, but that is just where I feel called. That is just where my like heart is nudging me. That is where my attention is being pulled. Okay? And I'm trusting that. I'm trusting that that's showing up for a reason, and I'm going to just allow myself to like fully surrender to that and live in that without judging that. That means that, some of the other things that have felt very purposeful for me over the past few years, like growing my business and showing up online, where that has really felt at a forefront, that has kind of like fallen back a little bit. Doesn't mean I'm not going to keep showing up and making videos, and I find that enjoyable. I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to judge myself that I'm not giving all of my effort and attention there. Okay, does that make sense? So for you, again, just breathing, slowing it down. Where are you feeling called in this moment, in this season of your own life? Even when it doesn't make sense, can you simply trust that? In my experience, this is what always leads to the most fulfilling thing, because I'm following the nudges of my heart. And in following those nudges, in feeling that connection within, in trusting myself, it's like those are all like an act to the greater connection to the divine. And I feel that, and that alone feels deeply fulfilling. And because these desires are on my heart, there is joy there in taking action, in aligning with those, and simply showing up in that way. Again, whatever feels called, even though it may feel small and illogical or insignificant, just trusting that that's there. And also knowing that this may change. Most likely it will. I will pivot. I will feel something else. I will be called, in a different season to show up differently. And I'll trust that too. So I think what we are really being asked of in this moment, I believe in every moment, but especially right now, like this message feels so loud to me right now. It's like we're being asked to trust ourselves, to trust in the greater powers that be, to trust in your own connection to spirit, to allow spirit to move through you. And this takes so much courage. But right before I got on here to do this video, I pulled a card, and it was the river, and it was all about surrender. Surrendering to the natural current of the river, allowing it to just take shape in the way that it's meant to, right? Not fighting against the current, but just being a part of it, not observing it, but just really allowing yourself, getting swept up and seeing where that leads, trusting that it will lead to something far greater than anything you could have planned or tried so hard to get to on your own. And what if that is the greatest purpose there is and the greatest thing that you can do? So let me know how this resonates with you. Let me know, if this spoke to you. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And I'm also going to leave down in the description box, I am starting an accountability group unlike any accountability group I have ever seen. I'm recording this video at the start of 2025, and it's so easy to, want to hit our goals and be accountable for, showing up and doing the thing. And yes, I believe so much in the balance of the masculine and feminine, in the balance of having the idea and doing the work to get it done, right? That is the co-creation. But this accountability group is more about connection to the divine within. It is more about radical trust, about trusting your intuition and letting that guide you. It is really about surrender to the way that spirit wants to move through you. You don't have to come to this group with a goal or a plan. The only thing that I want you to be accountable for is your willingness and devotion to, again, listen to your intuition, to trust yourself, and to show up from that place, really allowing spirit to move through you. I did my own radical trust experiment last year, and it just completely changed the trajectory of my year, of my business, of my life. And I want to deepen into this even more for myself. So I would love to see you there. I'd love to have you in that group. This is a totally free group where we're going to meet once a week. Again, it's totally free, but it is really to support you in letting go of the fear and just trusting more. Okay, so if you want more details, I'm going to leave that in the description box below, and I hope you have a beautiful day. I'll see you next time.